Welcome to another episode of the Wandering Minds podcast, where we explore every topic in every corner of the mind, giving a voice to the common man and woman, always with an open, wandering mind. My name is Ryan.
I am Mickey.
And I am Mike.
Special guest. We got a founders episode today. Mike Schell, the focus.
Yes, sir.
Man.
Yes, sir.
Mike, how you doing, brother?
Good. Real good. Interesting. Excited to see what you have for me.
God, don't put
No
me
pressure.
On that. Yeah,
No pressure.
I'm like, creative questions.
So just as a disclaimer, Mickey and I don't. You probably didn't even see our episode yet because you've been so busy.
You haven't listened to it yet?
I know.
No.
Co-host hasn't even listened to the podcast. Yeah, we talked a lot about my lifting from ground up. So that was what her topic of discussion was. So you're wide open on anything and everything else, or that too.
Just don't ask me about lifting.
Yeah.
Well, I got a quick question though in kind of that area too, because I noticed you've been. I don't see you a ton at the gym because I'm not always in it the morning that you are and everything. Yep. Are you training for anything in particular right now?
Currently, no. Currently, I am training. I'm not really training specific for powerlifting, but I am trying to get stronger. So I am strength training.
Okay.
But I don't have Devin's not my coach currently at the moment because I've just taken some time off. So there's no real goals other than strength. Like there's no okay, I'm doing this for that period. That being said, February is looking me in the eye.
For a meet?
Yeah.
Yeah. Right on.
So
I guess one thing I thought about asking too is this is kind of your baby.
Yeah.
And I know we've talked in like previous meetings, discussions, and stuff like that too. What led to the birth of the podcast? And start with that. What led to the birth of the podcast and how you started it?
So the birth of the podcast was actually a suggestion to Cash, because he has his YouTube channel, and I knew that he had the knowledge of the format. So having the knowledge of the format, podcasts are really popular, and they're great platforms for people to go to and discuss, get perspective and ideas, knowledge, wisdom, especially from people who know, because it's a free platform for me. The everyday person can have a podcast and really reach a lot of people to help. So it was a suggestion, and as soon as it went from suggestion, I turned it into a reality, because it's, for me, I'm the type of person that's going to, I make shit happen. I just do. I go, and we've had these discussions a lot. So I talked to Cash. I told him, got to get a podcast. What needs to be done to have a podcast? And we talked about it. This needs to be done. We need this. We need that. Done. We're getting it. So it was an idea that, for me, it's easy to turn things into reality once you get the blood flowing. And I think that's where a lot of people lose their dreams, is because it's a dream. It's like
lacking the action.
Lacking the action, because it's a desire. Like the first thing that Cash said to me was, I always wanted to have a podcast. That, to me, and I'm not trying to talk bad on Cash, but what I'm saying is that,
Cash, if you're watching this, we love you.
We do love you.
We do want to see you and have you come back and everything whenever the time is.
Yeah. Well, hopefully in about a week or two. I think he was gone for 4 weeks this time. But my point behind that is always wanting gets you nowhere.
Wanting isn't doing.
Wanting isn't doing.
Yeah.
So for me, it was just like that. Okay, we're doing. So I did. That was my first purchase right there, which those are not cheap, but it's worth
soundboard?
The soundboard. Yeah. And then it was just a matter of setting up. I wrote down a list of names, like, for the podcast. Okay, it's the Wandering Minds, excuse me, the Fellas. I had that. I had about 6 different names for a podcast. And I asked a couple different people, and every single person that I asked, that they were filling the Wandering Minds. We started in the shop, as you know. The problem with the shop is there was a lot of echoing. So and I can actually hear that AC right now, but
I can too.
The echoing was pretty bad. So we moved it into my office, and the office felt super crammed. And it had a cool look for my office, but it wasn't, I just wasn't feeling it for a podcast room because it was just too small. So then I came in here and I was like, this was crammed. This room was crammed full of just debris that I needed to get rid of. So that gave me a good excuse to clean out the closet, get rid of shit that I've been holding in here for years that we didn't need, that were literally just garbage. So I came in here, I gutted it, painted it, didn't do much for the walls, as you can see the stuff, and then I just created this look from just what I felt like would look good and what I was kind of feeling. I like the red, I like the black, it's a power color. But to go back to your initial thing, it was just, I'm not a dreamer, I'm a dream catcher. You know what I mean? People can dream all day long, but until you actually go out there and fucking grab your fucking dreams, there's never going to be reality. You're not going to turn anything into a reality as long as you just keep saying, I've always wanted, I want. Well, just fucking do.
Do you think by saying you're not a dreamer that like inhibits you in a way though? Because like,
well, what I meant by I'm not a dreamer, of course I'm a dreamer, but what I mean by that is I'm not just going to settle on a dream.
You're not just letting them stay as
I'm just not letting them
wishes.
stay a wish. Yeah.
Gotcha.
For me, I think that so many people fall short of true potential because they just don't take that leap. They just don't take this idea and make it a reality. That being said,
or quit before it's
yes, and the hard part about that with most people, if I've literally created success from scratch with my business, with my other business, literally trying to create success from scratch with this. You know, you have people, players that can help that or hinder that. It may hold me down, but it's never going to hold me back. You know what I mean? It may slow me down, but it's never going to hold me back. So knowing what it takes to create success from absolutely fucking nothing, that's the thing that I have. And that is what people are afraid of, or what holds them back, because they're afraid to take this concept or this idea and take that risk and just say, let's fucking go all in.
So you say knowing what it comes to make success from nothing. For those that don't know, I feel like this being like a founder's episode and everything, give a background and touch on that, like with your business and everything, and how you'd started that, where it's at now, and maybe like some of the trials that had led you to being where you're at now.
So for as far as business went, I started detailing at the auto auction. So I got a job at the auction. My cousin worked there right out of prison. I was fresh out of prison.
And how old?
22, 20, somewhere around there.
Early 20s?
Early 20s.
Yeah.
Fresh out of prison. He gets me a job. I started sweeping floors. That was my job. I was and it was fine, because I was like, I do not know anything. I knew nothing about auto detailing at that point in my life. But I'm a born leader. It's just who I am as a person. So within a few months, my boss was like, you got to start detailing. This is what I hired you for. So I started detailing, and very, very rapidly I picked up on the skill of detailing. And of course, I'm above and beyond type of worker. So I picked up on it really, really quick. I became probably the best detailer at that shop very, very early on, very rapidly. It's true. It's true. You should see how humble I am. You should. Well, I too am extremely humble.
I was the best.
Yeah. Well, in that shop. Now this is an auction style detail, so that's not saying much. But I did become. I love it, Mike. but so, and then 6 months after that, I became shop foreman. So I literally became in charge of the people who had been there for years before me. Literally years.
How did they take that?
They fucking hated it.
Yeah.
They hated it. But it is what it is.
No.
And I was never a power tripper, because I'm a leader, I'm not a boss.
Right.
So I
There's
respected.
definitely a difference. Yeah.
There's a huge fucking difference.
Yeah.
And within 6 months of that position, they hired me to the Big Brother auction in Portland, where I went from having a crew of 6 to a crew of 20 directly below me. They didn't want me to detail. They wanted me specifically to manage the detail shop. So I did, and I ended up not liking my boss very well. And I'm like, you know what? I could fucking do this shit on my own. So we moved back here. Yeah.
Fuck you.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, exactly.
And I'll do it better.
Well, and I will do it better. And so I moved back here. I had a job in between because we needed to make money, and Rajnita was working, but it was like minimum wage shit. So I had a job, but then I started my business because we sold a car. I bought all the supplies that I needed at the time by selling a car. I got one of those canopy tents that you can pull into, the vinyl plastic ones. And I started detailing out of there. And I just built up a reputation. I had a couple dealerships at the time. I had a lot of people. I was super cheap back then, so I was getting a ton of people. And then as the years progressed, I knew what I was putting out, and I wanted to be more high level detailing. And which means if you go high level, it's going to be quality over quantity. So my prices went up, my quality went up, but the amount of cars that I would get per week went way down because I had to. I was taking way more time on that. And now I started business in 2000. So I've been in business for 22 years, over 22 years, almost 23 years. And you know, I'll never say I'm the best I was at the auction. But I am high quality. It's all about quality for me, but that's also a mental thing. Yeah. It's, I think, true professionalism, and I'm not trying to blah, blah, blah. I'm not trying to talk down on people's level of professionalism, but for me, it embodies every fucking aspect of who you are as a coach, who you are as a business owner, whatever the fuck you are. If everything to me should be high level. If you're trying to promote yourself as a professional and a higher
I don't know the word. I know what you're saying.
Yeah. Higher
estrogen? No.
What the fuck's that?
I don't know what the fuck either of you are saying.
Higher level.
Yeah, it's like a higher tier.
Higher tier.
Tier.
It's easier.
Tier.
Let's say tier. I think every aspect of who you are as a person needs to be professional. Like, I'm not ever tardy. I'm not ever fucking late. I don't believe in that. Because I believe that if I'm late to a client to pick up a client's car, I'm telling them their time isn't important to me. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I wouldn't want them to be late on me, and they're always fucking late. People are always fucking late. I had a guy, I'll be there in 20 minutes, 45, 50 minutes later, he shows up, right? That's like you and coaching. And
if I'm literally like going to be like, no exaggeration, 1 or 2 minutes late, I'll let people know. I'll let them know regardless. But like, I feel like a piece of shit.
Yeah,
because it's like,
well, and you should.
If that, thanks.
Well, I just mean because you're trying to promote yourself as a. I'm still looking for that word. Echelon. What the fuck is that word?
Is it echelon?
Echelon, higher echelon.
That sounds like a word, but I don't know.
It does sound like a word.
Like if I got someone booked for like 10 a.m., right? And I get there at like 10 a.m., I'm like, fuck, I'm trying to start on the warm-up and everything like that, too. And granted, like, I have, I guess, overall in life, more of a laid-back kind of attitude with some things.
Yep.
But, like, with my job, it's still like, you're there for a purpose. You're here to train. You know, hopefully you want to get some out of your training. You're not just fucking around. I want you to get some out of your training because your success is my success. So it's like that timeliness is a big part of it. If it's 10 a.m., man, I want to start at 10 a.m.
Absolutely. Well, and the thing is you got somebody at 11 a.m.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
I only got 60 minutes to get as much out of you as I can.
So for me, it's like if you're 5 minutes early, you're 10 minutes fucking late.
Yeah.
You know, mentally.
I was saying, when people show up at 9:45, 9:50, warm up, stretch, whatever they need to do. Like if I train with Dev twice a week. If I have the 4 o'clock session, I won't book anybody at 3. 2:30 is the latest I'll do because I want that half hour to like pop my back, take my time stretching, get going on some fast warm ups and like some dynamic shit.
Hell
and,
like,
be primed.
That's it.
You know,
that's it. You and if you, the thing is like life always happens. Life does happen. I get that. Plan around fucking life. Plan around life.
I was talking with somebody the other day who said something like this. I can't remember what it was, but they were on the other end of it because there was like a car wreck that had happened in front of them, and their boss got mad. It's like, well, you should plan for that. It's like, sorry, I don't know when the fucking car crash is going to be.
But the reality is you should still plan for something to happen.
Yeah.
Like me, I plan for life. I know that if I'm going to go to a client's house, I'm going to have 3 fucking routes to get there.
Every time you talk, I just sense your Aries energy.
Yeah. Well, and I don't mean to sound overly aggressive.
No, you're
but it just is what it is. Yeah. For me, if you're a higher estrogen,
tier.
The fuck is that
tier.
word?
I said we'll Google it by the end.
And we'll figure it out by the end. If you're top tier in whatever you do, and I think everybody should strive for top tier, then that shit matters. It's the little things that matter. When I'm a few minutes early, and I'm not creepishly early, like, hey, I'm 20 minutes here waiting out your driveway shit.
Yeah.
Not creepishly early, but I'm going to be early enough to where even if I have to wait at the Walmart because it's a few minutes away, I'm going to do that because I want to make sure that I'm on time to my people. If you want to be top tier, you have to, if you expect top tier from your clients, you need to promote that shit. You need to be showing, leading by example. Mm-hmm. And that's what it is for me in the detail industry is I am top tier. I know that. I know the quality of work. I'm not the most expensive because I still want people to be able to experience that. I have rates that I feel are fair for me and market value. Inflation right now is fucked. You know what I mean? So I mean I could raise my rates and justify it based on inflation, but I'm gonna lose clients because they already are tapped out. Everybody's fucking tapped out.
I haven't adjusted much of my I've been, if anything, going back like to my job, the only thing I've done is be more strict on people if they no call, no show me. Like I said, I'm kind of a laid back person, so I'm like, it's okay, life happens. Like,
fuck that.
Yeah, I
said, fuck that,
if
bro.
If you text me 20 minutes before, like, hey, I'm not gonna make it. I'm like, that fucked up part of my like, sorry, I gotta charge you.
Well, and
but
that's
still your
it.
time.
Yeah, I used to be very lenient about it because like I don't know if it was just being too nice or what, but I can't let that shit slide anymore. Because it's like.
They're not respecting. Like, they're not respecting your time, and I told
and then it makes it a repeat thing too.
Well, that's
like, well, I didn't get charged before. Ryan will be cool about it or whatever.
Yeah,
it's like, bro, time is money.
Yeah, literally. And that's what I was telling Devin, probably you, and Flex. It's like if people are late or no shows, charge them a fucking fee. Because guess how often that's gonna fucking happen after they get charged the fee.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's not that you're being disrespectful. They're disrespecting you and your clients that you have after them because, can we push the timeout? Yeah. Fuck no. You know what I mean? I went to a place to get a pedicure with Raj a couple years ago, and we had it scheduled. It's like, we're getting this together. Mm-hmm. Okay, we'll schedule 3 seats together. They fucking sit Raj, and the other person like, oh, yeah, we'll be about 30 minutes. What do you mean? She's going to be fucking done with her shit by the time you start mine? No. We've never been back.
Yeah.
We've never been back because it's like, that's not how you do business. That's bad business. You lost clientele right there. Yeah. And it's not because I'm a dick. I'm paying you fucking top dollar. You're going to fucking treat me. This is my spot.
Yeah.
This is my spot.
Just holding
people accountable.
Yeah, to the same standard that you would hold yourself accountable.
Absolutely.
Just from hearing him talk, obviously like a high standard. I mean, what's the name of your business?
High Pride. Yeah, High absolutely. Pride I take a lot of pride in that shit too.
Yeah.
And
as you should.
Yeah. Yeah. And so off of the detail business, this is the same fucking way. Yeah. This is the same way. People can slow me down, but they're not going to hold me back. You know what I mean?
I'm glad you bring it back to this too because I wanted to bring it back a little bit. I asked you the birthplace with the podcast and everything. We got into the detail. But now bringing it back to the podcast, we know how it started. We know the origin story and everything. What's the vision for it? Like, where are we at right now? I know, obviously, I've been on a few episodes. Mickey's been on a few episodes, everything. Yeah. But you being like the founder with it, bringing an idea you brought to life, what's your vision for the foreseeable future and long term? So
my vision is to get this podcast to be bigger and better. And I think that the people, the team that we have involved in it right now, which is you guys, I think that the brains and the minds that with the combination of all our brains and minds, we can really touch a lot of people. And what it comes down to is being accessible to people, but also touching the people that don't think they're worthy of being touched. Mm-hmm. I don't mean that in a creepy fucking way. But you know what I mean?
Physically touch. We're not going to just go touch people.
Yes. Well, and allowing access to everybody has a perspective. Everybody has an opinion that I think is valid and important. I talked to a guy a couple weeks ago. I'm like, hey, you want to come on the podcast? Oh, I have nothing to say. I have no, nobody wants to listen to what I say. What do you mean nobody wants to? I'm literally listening to what you're saying, and I find you very interesting.
Motherfucker, we're talking right now.
We're talking. And for me, that's what I think, that this is a platform that, like, and you and I have talked about helping on a macro scale. We start micro, but we can be very macro, especially with something like this. Now, I know that we hit a lot of controversial topics, a lot of hot button topics, which I think that also needs to be done. I think that people need to be pissed off.
Like finished? Or
no, done as in we need to do that.
It needs to happen.
It needs to happen, because I think that those hot button topics are what starts a conversation. When you can get people in a room that have very differing opinions and perspectives and have a conversation, that's what needs to start, is a conversation.
I think you don't realize how much you have in common with people too until you actually have those conversations with them. And like, I don't know, you can make that something as like simple as race or whatever, or religion or whatever it else is. But like, to sit down and just like, everybody born has some kind of parents or whatever. You might have never met them or whatever, but you have parents, otherwise you wouldn't be born. You have some kind of hometown, shit like that. Like, everybody's got a few things that like they have their own version of. And all the crazy shit you've experienced in your own life too, whether it was... I found myself really annoyed with the word trauma lately.
Yeah.
It gets thrown around a lot.
It's used too often.
It does. And I don't mean for that to take away from, like, everybody has had their experiences throughout their life, whether it's past or present or whatever. But, and I could go on a whole side tangent about this. But everyone has their shit. It's your responsibility to deal with it. It's not your fault that it happened to you, but it is your responsibility to deal with it. It's like getting in a car crash. Someone T-boned you. It might not have been your fault, but now you got to fix your fucking car.
Yeah.
It's like that victim versus survivor mentality, I think.
Yeah.
Right? If you go around claiming like, oh, I have all this trauma. We all have fucking trauma.
Yeah.
Right? But what are you going to do with that?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Instead of claiming like trauma, like, oh, well, this is what I do now.
Yeah.
Right?
When it's like, I don't know. Maybe it's more like the hard ass side of me too. That's less laid back, but it's like, quit being such a fucking puss.
Well, and I don't see that as being a hard ass. I see that as reality.
Yeah.
Most people,
again, look at your personality too. Like, that's very much going to be in line with who you are and everything.
Yeah.
And we do live, like, I think currently at least in a lot of ways, a softer kind of generation and everything too.
I agree.
I feel like at my age, I'm in an interesting point where I've kind of lived through the transition of a lot of it. I mean, granted, you guys are both older than me, so like you have too. But being in my teenage years or early years as a childhood and watching it switch, like, I grew up in like the no internet generation into where it merged into internet being like everything.
Everything.
And now it's like kids today have, tablets at 5-6 years old and shit like that. And I don't think I saw a laptop until I was in 5th grade, and I changed school districts. And I thought I was with a bunch of rich kids because we had laptops in our library.
Yeah.
And it blew my fucking mind,
Yep.
I don't know how we got here. I was saying something else before the trauma thing came about, but... I don't know, fuck. That's what happens.
I don't remember.
Yeah.
We're talking about the vision with the podcast and everything.
Yes,
too.
and touching people in not a creepy way.
Controversial topics.
I guess reaching people is what I really want to do. I actually, as controversial as we get, it's meant to help. It's meant to open doorway in conversation. That's kind of where we were going with that.
So one thing, sorry.
Go.
I said one thing that I find challenging as someone who's like been with you for a few episodes and everything like that is expanding to a broad audience while at the same time not having a super dialed in focused podcast. Because like, and I use Joe Rogan as an example because I'm pretty sure the most popular one in the world, right?
Yeah.
If I don't know, so-and-so nutritionist comes on there, they're going to dive into some food topics like nutrition and stuff like that. If Jordan Peterson goes on there, it's getting into some philosophy and shit like that too. So it's like trying to figure out a way to bounce around to certain topics without just feeling like we're pulling stuff out of our asses.
Yeah.
And I know you and I had talked before too, and it's like we can definitely take some time to be more knowledgeable or researched in certain areas too. Like, I've had friends tell me that, like, Jonah told me too, I love that you're a conspiracy guy too. And it's like, no, I'm a thinker. Yeah. But, people can label that a conspiracy guy, whatever, I don't care. but I don't do great. I recognize it's a weakness that on a lot of the shit that I have opinions about everything, knowing a lot of the details to specifically back it and everything. Yeah. But I kind of leave everything with an open mind too, because it's like, I mean, I can't tell you.
Well, and that's certain, wandering minds. That's you know, the thing is if like for anybody who's out there who's an expert, come the fuck on.
Yeah.
Come on the fucking show.
Yeah.
If there's something that we say that you don't like or that you want to hear, you want more educated perspective, bring that fucking shit. I invite.
To clarify.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, the thing is it's an open invitation.
Well, and we had said that, I know, towards the start of one of the first episodes, there was a few people that had been upset about like weight / fat comments or whatever too. But I've said from the get-go, and not just for the podcast, but like anything in my life too, if there's anything that someone like disagreed with me with or had a different opinion, like, you can talk to me.
Absolutely.
But I'm not going to say anything that I don't believe in, or at least I'm willing to have an open discussion about too. Maybe we have a discussion, you sway my opinion on something too. Like when I was younger, like a lot of people, I feel like I used to have like more liberal leaning views and stuff. As I gotten older and like lived more as an adult in the world and everything, that's swayed in different directions and whatnot. But I mean, Muhammad Ali said a man who sees the world the same at 50 as he did at 20 has wasted 30 years.
Seriously.
It's like your mind should always kind of be evolving and changing to what's around you,
what
you experience.
You should be always learning. You should be learning and adapting. But to go back to what you're saying, I think that diversity is a big thing for the podcast. I think that we have to be diverse. Like I was talking to Mickey and other people, it's like we have people that like some of our podcasts, but not all of them. So if we only focused on the ones, the type that this person liked, it would limit a lot of people. You're right? Because not everybody's going to like what we have to say at any given time. So I think being very diverse is the key to it. It's the key to growth. You have to have something for everyone. Yeah. We're not experts at things, but I invite experts on.
Yeah.
I do think that, though, with like topics, as far as topics go, for like an episode, to keep it more to one broad topic. Because if we were to say, okay, this is Mike talking about his detail business, and then we go off and like talk about spirituality, like maybe somebody wants to hear about that spirituality, but they were turned off because they don't want to hear about Mike's business. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Well, and also part of, like when I've invited guests on, I keep it pretty unique to what I feel like this person is about. Like we've had bodybuilders on. Let's talk about bodybuilders. You're a black person. Let's talk about being black. Let's talk about interracial relationships. Let's talk about that stuff that's relevant to the guest and allow it to flow wherever it flows, because everybody has, a lot of people are defined by politics, race, religion. Right? That's what defines almost everybody on this planet. They put themselves in these categories. So when I have a guest on who, say he's black and he's married to a white person, now he's also got interracial children. There's a lot in that is very relevant to life.
Defines them according to who?
Who they are, who they perceive themselves to be. Like, I'm a black person, right? No, you're not. You're more than that. But let's talk about what it is to be black, type of thing. I'm a Christian or I'm a Muslim. Okay, let's discuss, why is that definition?
Just the lens that you see.
The lens that they see them. I'm a Democrat or I'm a Republican or I'm spiritualist and not Christian. You know what I mean? That's what I mean. So many people define themselves. But that being said, when I invite somebody onto the podcast, it's usually me that's inviting people, because that just is what I do. You can too, or you can't do. But I've invited a majority of the people on the podcast. I find everybody very intriguing, very, very interesting, and I want to know about their life.
Yeah.
And that's usually where the topic starts. But I also shoot from the hip. I don't write questions down. It's just, it goes. I have an idea of who these people are. So I'm gonna ask them questions based on what I know who them to be from my lens, and then we'll allow that to flow to wherever it goes. So topics can vary a lot within the time that we have with this person, because this person is more than just a topic, right? In my eyes. But a topic in and of itself, I believe that we should have topic-based podcasts. And again, that's super difficult for a person like you. And I don't mean that in a bad way. I mean that in a really good way, because your mind is so fucking broad. It's so broad. When we talk about spirituality, all of a sudden we're talking about fucking shrooms. It's like, whoa. But there it is.
I mean, I think those two do go hand in hand.
That's what I'm talking about.
I do think those are related.
Well, but that's what I mean. Somebody who's never done shrooms has no idea that, okay, we talked about spirituality, now we're talking about fungus.
Well, I've
Right?
never done shrooms, but I think that's part of it is like listening to Ryan talk about spirituality and how they're connected. That's how I can learn.
But see,
Do you know what I mean?
The topics
Try
could have been
it.
different. Yeah, do it. I haven't done it, but you see
I've
how.
heard great things. Honestly.
But you see how everything is actually related.
Yeah.
Everything's related. So that's why just a topic-based podcast, for me, it narrows it down a lot. When it comes to a mind that's wide open like yours, you're fucking closing somebody. You're keeping the bird in the cage.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
I see pros and cons to that.
Yeah.
Because, like I said, if I go back to the Rogan example too, I know if a certain person is on there and what the realm of the topics are going to be. Now, maybe you could get into like aliens and UFOs with Jordan Peterson.
Yeah.
But I feel like for the most part, it's going to be on like, masculinity and philosophy and stuff, psychology.
Yeah, and
stuff
he's
like
great.
that. Yeah,
I
dude's
love that
fucking
guy.
genius.
Yes.
But I don't know. I feel like wandering minds, right? Shit bounces around, so maybe there's some where it's like it's open, and it's fun a lot of times to have these open table conversations, like a round table.
It's authentic.
Yeah,
it's authentic, and I think that's the biggest
but
thing
you can
for me.
draw in more viewers sometimes too,
Yeah.
which is like if you're trying to grow something, obviously what you need is more viewers if they know they're tuning into a certain topic. Like one podcast I've started following, it's called Practical Stoicism.
Mm-hmm.
Stoicism's a philosophy
Yeah.
that I'm following right now and like trying to learn more on and everything. And each episode is roughly 5 to, I think the longest one I listened to so far is 13 minutes.
Yeah.
In the first 2 minutes that was like advertisement shit.
Well,
But-
and that's where we need to, in editing, make shorter clips.
Yeah.
And that's why if we do wander off a topic, we can still make little clips for YouTube, for Spotify, that are specific to, okay, this 10-minute section is perfect for its own little clip.
Yeah.
So, and I get it. I totally get it. One of the things that I'm having a real issue with, and I'm going to say we because we are part of this, is we don't have enough people that share it. We don't have enough people that it's like, oh, hey, did you watch that podcast from the other day? No.
Yeah.
And you're also not sharing it. So people aren't helping grow the business.
Yeah.
People aren't, Wandering Minds posted something. Let's post this up.
There's got to be something, and honestly, actually, now that I think about it, I did not repost the last picture. So
Oh, I know. I was talking about you too, but
But, damn, now I feel bad. I'm a dick.
I haven't done it all, so
but you understand what. Go ahead. What were you going to say?
Recently on my coaching page,
Mm-hmm.
I posted a poll and had asked for like what type of content people want to see.
I
more.
actually just asked
Yeah.
Mickey to do that.
I'm
Yeah.
trying not to like overload
Bombard.
Instagram right now
Yeah.
because of the algorithm stuff.
Yeah.
But that is something that Mike
That's
had
on the
suggested.
list, yep.
Yeah.
but
To
I
put out a poll. But
yeah.
what did you find?
that more I put because my personal page has more of a following than my coaching page, and so I reposted the poll from my coaching page onto my personal one and just said, hey, like if you have 10 seconds, you do me a favor and go over here and do it. And a shit ton of people would
Look at it.
look at it and not go over there and
Yeah,
respond
and
to
not
it.
respond.
And after that one on my personal page, I posted a picture of my feet up in the air by the sun
Because you were sunning
because I was sunning my balls and my ass. And a bunch of people were like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
And they were more then I posted another story later and I was like, how the fuck
Yeah.
could like literally 8 or 9 people message me and ask me if
About
I
your
was
fucking
sunning my
butthole
balls.
tanning, yeah.
Yeah, but not go over and answer a fucking question
Yeah.
for me real quick. And you could have even said, I don't give a shit about your coaching content.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah.
But like don't have more of a concern for my suntan testicles
Yeah.
on my coaching
Yeah.
page because I just needed 10 seconds of your time.
Yeah.
And it probably
are they tan or are they burned?
no, they're tan. They're
Okay.
good.
No SPF on those.
No, hell no. You just let them sit. But it's like a slow roast, roasted nuts.
Hell
But
yeah.
it probably took them longer to respond to that story with a message than it would to just click to my coaching page. You have 4 or 5 options. Hit the poll. Boom.
And
done.
how many times did they click back to see?
Yeah, exactly.
Wait.
Exactly.
But that's it. I mean, and I have this issue with business.
But how do you draw people in?
You just keep at them. You just
Yeah.
keep, and I was just going to go there. nobody wants to help you win unless they're directly involved.
Yeah.
Unless unless it helps them win.
Yeah.
Like, I have so many people that look at my stories, look at my detailing page, look at everything. It's like, nobody shares shit.
You are a prime example, though, of someone that does that for other people. When Jordan posted his house, I've seen you repost it.
Without a question.
You post your own detailing shit. You've posted Shayla's meal stuff. Like,
dude, I do
really
it for everybody.
Yeah.
I do it for literally everybody because I know that has to be done to help them succeed.
Yeah.
But how often do I get that in return?
Yeah.
Very, very, very rarely. Very rarely. And I don't, okay, I see how you are. You know what I mean? That's fine. I'm going to help people. But at the same time,
I will say, anytime anyone's asking about detail shit, Mike Schell.
Yeah. Well, and I appreciate that. I do. And a lot of people say that, but it's like, to help business, you share that.
Yeah.
You share that because you got thousands of people, they're going to see that. Thousands of people are going to see the Wandering Minds podcast. That, you know, a lot of people probably don't want to be associated with it, and I get that. But don't come to me when we're big. Yeah. You know what I mean? If you get an invitation from me to be on this podcast and you tell me no, when we blow up, you'll never get that fucking invitation again.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it is out of spite because you didn't help me when I was down. I'm not going to help you when we're big, right? Yeah. You know what I mean? So, because people always want you when you're at the top. They want you when you're at the top. When you can help them, they'll be your friend.
Yeah.
And that's just how people are. But they won't get it.
I love Mike.
I have a fucking list. I literally have a list.
He's like, fuck this whole list.
Yeah. And I still have love for the people.
Yeah.
But I know who's helping me and who's not.
Yeah.
You know, and that's it's I'm never gonna obligate people to, but it's like if you're not helping, you're not helping. So
I know which one of these buttons is the ching.
Yep.
Is it the green one?
Perfect fucking timing, Nikki. Jesus.
Not that one.
Okay, so we talked about bouncing around topics, which we have kind of done. But again, being it's
we've kind of kept it.
The Founders episode, I mean, focus towards you. And this is great because everyone can get a glimpse, for those who don't know you very well, what your personality is and the fucking fire behind it. I love it. So going off on a little bit different, you are married.
Yes.
You've been married for how many years?
24 this year.
24.
24 fucking years. As long as you've been married. Almost. Or
alive.
Alive.
27. Shit.
Yeah. It's almost as long as you've been alive.
That's wild. Father of 2 kids?
I actually have 3. But yes, 2 girls at home or here. But I have a son with a previous relationship prior to Rajnita and I.
I did not know that.
And I think he's right around your age, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you have contact with him?
Yeah, I don't have any relationship with him.
By whose choice?
His mom raised him. His mom forced me out of the picture. I was probably 18 when he was born, so I was in the heyday of
debauchery.
Yeah. I went to prison for a couple years, and she just did not want to give me the opportunity to be a father, which was, I don't think it was right because I'm still me as a person, and I could have been a great father for him, but she kind of forced that card. He did come back into my life when he got a little older, and he was kind of into a bad lifestyle thing, and I wasn't having it because my girls were young. I'm like, he even lived with me for a while, and I kicked him the fuck out because he was just doing stupid shit. And unfortunately for me, and this is what I tell people all the fucking time, dads have to create a relationship and maintain a relationship with their children. Because for me, and I hate to say it, and it's going to make me sound bad, but out of sight, out of mind. I've never had a relationship with them, so it's never been an issue for me. And that sounds bad, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
You know what's wild is I've internet stalked him, and
the son?
yeah, and he looks just like Mike. He's just tall.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's fucking like 6'. He's probably your height.
Yeah.
It's like,
the fuck did he get that from?
Fuck. Right? Fuck. Well, he was premature. He was like 2.5 months premature, so he was on. So probably, I think, whatever steroids or whatever they gave him to make his lungs grow and stuff like that.
Tren.
Yeah, right. His name's Trinity, actually.
Wow.
And he actually has a son. So technically, I have a grandson.
What the fuck?
That I've never met. Yeah, I've never met him. And I know that I come across very callous when I talk about it, and I don't mean to be, but again, for me, I've never had a relationship with them. I'm closer to my nephews than I ever was with my son, unfortunately, and it just is what it is.
Yeah.
I think that's more relatable than you might recognize.
Yeah.
In that, like, I wasn't raised with my father around. And so it's hard. It's really, really difficult to be like, oh yeah, I need to go say hi or whatever, like build that relationship, because we never had that relationship. So I do believe it goes both ways. I don't think it's that abnormal.
Yeah.
It does sound like insensitive, and like, oh yeah, I got to check on my dad to make sure that he's
well, and
okay,
I wouldn't, he doesn't need to check on me.
well, I know, but do you know what I'm saying? Like, it's so easy for, like, relationally,
Yeah, I think I understand.
parent-child relationships, like, out of sight, out of mind. If you don't have that, like, built relationship, because I didn't meet my dad till I was 18. And so it was 18 years of my life that I didn't ever have to think about this dude.
Yeah.
Right? So I don't think it's that harsh sounding.
Okay.
I feel like it's relatable.
Yeah.
Back in that direction, though, too, because that's news to me. I wasn't going to say you're just a father of only girl. You're in an all-woman household, other than yourself.
Yeah. And Nipsey.
Nipsey's kind of an asshole.
He is an asshole, so I guess we're a lot alike in that.
I feel like Lulu's worse.
Yeah.
I like the little one.
She's
She's always sweet to me when I come by. Nipsey's like biting my fucking ankles and stuff.
oh
Mike has 2 French bulldogs, for those who don't know.
Yes.
yeah, that's who Nipsey was.
Yeah. Just random people at the house biting your ankles. But how would you describe, for one, just being a man in general, 2, being the kind of more calloused or rough around the edges kind of guy that you are? Because, like, you have a fiery personality and stuff like that, too, and you're very strong in your opinions and beliefs on things. Being that sort of man while living with women in your household and raising 2 daughters, what it's like being a father to 2 daughters and everything.
Yeah. So, a girl will change who a man is innately, right? Having girls changed who I was. I stopped drinking. I stopped being more of the fighter type. I stopped any of that type of shit because of girls. I didn't want my daughters to see that side of masculinity. I sacrificed a lot of, like, business expansion when they were young, because I wanted to be an at-home dad, because I didn't have my son in my life, because I didn't get the opportunity to be with my son. So I was there every fucking step of the way. So I knew at that point I had to create that relationship and maintain that relationship and have a very, very close relationship with my daughters. So they softened me a lot. Because I wanted to be a positive male role model for my daughters. Now, I do have this, I am who I am, but my daughters know that everything that I do is for their best interest, their care, their concern, their protection, their every aspect of that. I think that masculinity in this era is not masculinity. I think that it's very much... and it's weird, femboy masculinity. I don't mean that like gay. I don't mean that. I mean a lot of men these days are very feminine, very soft, and like there's even, I think, what is this, a sigma male? I read something about a sigma male, where it's like an alpha male that's non-confrontational. No, you're a bitch boy. You're not a fucking alpha.
Well, I would describe my understanding of the sigma thing as a little different.
Okay,
because I think
I want to know.
I've never heard of it.
I think it's more, how do you describe it? As like, people think of the alpha male as like the lion or the tiger, like the big fucking king and everything, right?
Yep.
And I would think of the sigma as more like a large wolf, where it's a little more quiet in the background and everything too, but can still very much like fuck your shit up and everything. And it's more of, because not every alpha male is just some jacked motherfucker.
Yeah.
That's like a big dude, you know? There's intelligence and power and stuff like that. Persuasiveness, all these things that go into the role of being like an alpha male.
Yeah.
And I think from my understanding at least, the sigma male is a little more like doesn't have to throw it around to be like it's known. But I don't think an alpha male does either, so I think that's kind of a misunderstanding.
Well, I think that's the thing is the problem with this conception of alpha means that you got to be a dick about things. And I don't think that's the case. I think alpha is very controlled.
Yeah.
Is very in control of who they are as a person, but are willing to put hands down when it's necessary. And my idea of a sigma, or what I understand of a sigma, is they're very non-confrontational. I don't want to fucking be confrontational either. I want to avoid confrontation. Yeah. But I will fucking do what I have to do when it needs to be done.
Not having the fear of having shit happen.
Well, and that's it. It's fear is good as long as it's controlled fear. Everybody needs to fear something, but it's being fearless in fear, if that makes any fucking sense. Yeah. Right? Yeah. It's like if we're gonna fight, I'm gonna be afraid of that shit. You're bigger than me. You have fucking hand skills. I'm still fighting you. You know what I mean? I'm not going to back down from it.
Yeah.
But I hope I would. I hope I would. But if shit has to go down, I'm going to fucking do it. To protect myself and my family and whoever the fuck needs to be protected. Yeah. I'm going to do that shit. And I think that that's an alpha, and I think that the sigma shit is bullshit. Take your fucking sigma ass back to the bottom end of the scale. And because I think that we need confrontation. We need people that are willing to fucking, I'm going to take that fucking bullet for you because I don't want you to get hurt.
Yeah.
If you're hiding behind fucking walls all day long, you're not fucking helping society. Well, you're also hiding from it.
I'm not sure where the sigma thing started from too, but like
from femboys.
In all aspects of nature, we see like alphas and betas and everything too. Like it could be fucking alligators, and you can recognize the alpha male. Like probably a big motherfucker that gets majority of the food and stuff like that too. So it's like, I don't know if the sigma thing was just introduced in humans because someone wanted to bring that along, or how that came to be. But
I think femboys introduced that shit to justify their level of pussiness and try to compare themselves to alphas. I think that an alpha isn't the biggest, baddest motherfucker. The alpha knows the smartest one. The alpha has the strongest one. The alpha leads the pack, but designates tasks to the best. Like in even with this right here, I want to have certain co-hosts, not just anybody. You know what I mean? I want somebody with high intelligence, with high capability, with this understanding, but yet this ability to hold back. You know what I mean? Not because if I'm going to be the aggressive one, you have to be the one that's not aggressive, right? Somebody who
don't tell me to be not aggressive.
Well, you're not the boss, me. But you understand what I'm saying, right? It's people that are. Everybody in your circle should be bigger, faster, stronger, smarter than you, or get the fuck out of that circle. That's what I believe. If they're not bigger, faster, smarter than you, you're in the wrong circle, because those people help you grow. Those are the ones that help you grow. But also at the same time, and we talk about this a lot, especially when it comes to like the obesity shit and the other topics that we've talked about. If you don't have people that are telling you, I love you, let's work on this shit, they're not your fucking people. Yeah. If they're telling you, oh, you're perfect the way you are, I love you just the way you are, tell them to fuck off, because they don't care about you. Yeah. In the big picture of things, they don't fucking care about you. I care. We care. Yeah. That's why we have these topics and these discussions about, especially about obesity. I fucking love you. I actually fucking care. It may come across like I don't care because of the way I'm presenting it, but it's because I fucking care. Yeah. Right? I don't want to see you have a heart attack at fucking 30.
Yeah. I think a quality friend can embody both of those things of like being able to gas you up and like hype you up, you know, when you accomplish something, you're doing well with stuff, but then also call you out on your bullshit too, you know. And probably the same thing would go with a spouse.
That's a friend too. That's a person that truly cares about you. Yeah. Because they actually have your best interest in mind. Mm-hmm. And I think that going back to the whole alpha thing is, I'm gonna push my fucking daughters to succeed. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to be overbearing about success, because I want them to find their own success. I'm going to allow them to fuck up. I'm going to allow them to do this because they have to learn through trial and error also. So I'm not a dictator in the house. But I am a strong personality because I want them to be the greatest version of who they are. And I expect that. Mm-hmm. Like with my wife. I'm constantly, I want to say encouraging. Mm-hmm. She works on her confidence a lot. She's very confident, But it's one of those things where it's like you can either break people or make people with just words.
Yeah.
Just words. Very simple. So you have to be smart about how you're addressing people. But for me, it's always meant to be encouraging and motivating. And you see that my personality in the gym is the same fucking way as I am in life. I want you to fucking win. I truly want you to succeed.
Yeah.
And that's what it's all about. Whatever the fuck you do. It's really about personal growth and success. And that's another reason why this podcast exists, because I believe that there's greatness in fucking everybody. Literally in everybody, but most people sell themselves too short because they lack fucking confidence.
Yeah. Fuck. Yeah. I think to piggyback on that a little bit too, I see, at least I try to, it can be challenging at times like anything else, but every person as another part of me. It's like the mirror sees nothing, it only reflects, right? So if you're all a facet of me and I'm of you and we're all the same thing, then it's like, by you improving, aren't I also improving? Like,
and diversity is the biggest thing of self-improvement, I think. Not diversity, but well, I don't want to say conflict, but
a challenge.
A challenge.
Yeah.
I think that if I challenge you in a way, that's where you fucking grow.
Yeah.
That like if somebody
I've never had any challenges, I don't think I would have grown from anything in my life.
Well, that's
whether
it.
That's trying to add 20 pounds to a squat, or that's trying to like achieve something better when I was in college in a class or something like that too. If no one gave a fuck about anything, it's like, what point would we be at? We would, I think, by human nature, accept the bare minimum and just get by, because humans are like inherently, I think,
apathetic.
Or well, isn't apathy like the lack
You just
of feeling?
blah. You just like I'll just.
I don't know about that entirely.
I accept below par.
I think we're emotional beings, so I don't know if I'd say apathetic, but I'd say like more towards lazy or comfort.
Yeah.
Because I think we naturally seek comfort.
Yeah.
And I think seeking discomfort is one of the best things you can do to improve upon yourself and challenge yourself.
100% agree.
I've always said staying in your comfort zone is the best way to avoid any type of personal growth or development.
And that's adversity.
Yeah.
That's adversity, and that's one reason why we hit on some of those topics in this podcast, because it gets people fucking thinking.
And uncomfortable.
Because if they get offended, it's not what I said, it's the reflection in the mirror.
What did it trigger in you?
Why did it trigger you that? Yeah. Why did what I fucking say, because my opinion shouldn't fucking matter.
Yeah.
It should. But but why did it offend you?
But for someone else, like, who the fuck is this guy?
Who the fuck is this guy?
Who's this guy triggering me?
But they're still thinking, exactly. They're still thinking about that. If somebody calls me short, I am short.
Yeah.
But if it offends me, that's lack of self-love. That's lack of self-approval, right? Because you fucking said something, a word to me that hurt my feelings. Why? Let's analyze that shit. And I do this all the time. I analyze, why is this pissing me off? Why am I feeling this way? All the time.
Yeah.
All the fucking time. That's how you grow.
I think too that is such a critical thing to be able to sit back and self-analyze or self-reflect too. And
I think it comes with maturity.
Yes, but also stillness. I think stillness speaks. And the way we live right now too is very much everything in every direction will pull your attention. Yep. Whether it's your phone, it's your job, it's your spouse,
designed.
it's your kids. Yeah, it's designed that way. It's like extracting your energy and everything like that. I mean, I've caught myself multiple times being like, I just spent 15 minutes pointlessly scrolling Instagram on shit that did not matter when I had the goal to read 10 pages.
Yep.
Or watch the specific YouTube video I had pulled aside to learn something or something like that. And I looked at dumb fucking whatever instead.
Well, and that's a discussion that I had with Cash.
Yeah.
It's like he found himself just scrolling, and I'm like, that could have been time where you could have been making clips, putting short clips out, and you're right. It's true.
And I think we can bring all this shit back too if we want to reel it in, because I notice a lot of times you can get really expansive on subjects and everything, but simple is often better, at least for explanation. Yep. And I would boil that down to discipline. Because discipline plus all about discipline creates results. Yeah. And that can be the smallest thing. Like the book Atomic Habits is great because one thing it talks about is in building those habits is basically like the one small step, like eating the elephant is one bite at a time. If I'm trying to build a habit in myself of reading, consistently reading, even one paragraph out of a page a day is a place to start. Yeah. Because there was an example of someone in there, and I don't know the exact research, but it was a real story with it, who their thing was to go to the gym. And so when they started, they would go to the gym for 5 minutes. So it was a habit of literally just going to that location and everything. And then within a week, like 5 days, I think, they're like, well, I'm already here. I might as well do something. So they rode the bike for like 10 minutes, 5 minutes, whatever, and did a couple like push-ups or something, you know? And then that took like 15, 20 minutes when it's like, okay, well, now I have a base layer down, so then I can do something else, start adding more to my routine, and then it's just fucking habit. You don't care how long you're there. If it was a half hour, an hour, or 2 hours, whatever, you went in, you had your objective, you got shit done. And so it's like starting small, adding on that discipline with that action, and again, creating results too.
Well, and we're all perfect examples of discipline as powerlifters, because you're a powerlifter.
I wouldn't say I'm perfect in anything.
Well, well, what I mean by that is we're a good example of discipline.
Yeah.
Because when we're training for powerlifting competition, we're locked in.
Yeah. So I can think specifically out of all the different things I've trained for, designed, attack my program with. When I was doing power, especially my second meet, my first one kind of gave me a taste, and my second one was like, I want to fucking kill everything I just did. My workouts and eating were my top priorities.
Yeah.
And then
which is discipline.
Yeah. I would even say my own coaching probably came second to those, because I was so focused. And I don't mean like I was a shit coach, but like maybe I didn't read as much or study as much or certain things too. But I just wanted to fucking lift as heavy as I could, get all my exercises in, and then just eat like a motherfucker, you know? And like, those are fairly simple things in theory, but you stack upon that consistency and discipline, and you get the results out of it.
Well, and the reality is a lot of people use the excuse that their plate's too full, they got too much going on. It's like, then better yourself.
Everyone is fucking busy.
Everybody has shit.
Friends too, when people say like, "Oh, I'm too busy," motherfucker. We're all busy.
We're all busy.
But if you say it's not a priority, then start to see how your
that's
priorities
the moment.
Shift around
That's right there is the key. Is people don't prioritize things, or they mentally don't.
Yeah.
Right. It's like it. If you say, "Should I go to the gym today?" You've already put a fucking hurdle up.
Yeah.
You've already put that hurdle up, because now you're starting to second guess that. And I think second guessing is the beginning of failure.
Shit.
When you start to question yourself and second guess, you've already set yourself up for failure.
Yeah.
Like me, as you know, and you've mentioned this to me, I go all in. I don't fucking question it until I fuck up. And then I learn from the fuck ups. That's how I learn.
Second guessing about your fuck ups and everything, you might as well just go all in and actually fuck up, then learn.
That's what I'm talking about.
Say, I got there, I hit this fuck up, now I can come back with
that's how I roll. And when you look at a person like me, I'm all fucking in. I'm all in. I know I'm gonna fuck up, because it's all a learning curve to me.
Yeah.
Everything you should be learning something new or bettering everything you fucking do. If you're not living right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's why I don't question things. I just fucking do, and I learn as I go, and then you learn more. And there's nothing I can't learn. There's things I don't want to learn. There's things I don't want to do, so I don't fucking do it.
Yeah.
But in order to get from point A to point Z, you got to go through all the fucking alphabet. Yeah. It's not point A to point B. Nothing in life is that easy. Point A to point Z, and probably exclamation all that shit afterwards. There's all those steps, but it's all learning. As long as you're learning the way, you're winning. Right. There's no losing.
Right.
You know, and that's where people, they look at shit and they're like, I fucked up. It's over. It's done. You just fucking learned from it. You just started. Hell, fucking yeah. There's no, I fucking be dragged by a horse. I don't care about that shit. It's fucking just, let's go. Yeah. Let's go. That's what it's all about. If you want to succeed, you strive for success. As easy as that.
Yeah.
As easy as that. The striving is the hard part. But as long as you're in that fucking, you know, like with powerlifting, even if I don't reach my fucking goals, I'm 100% gonna try. 100%. I go to a competition and I want to hit this weight and I don't get it. At least I fucking tried. You know what I mean? And that's what it's all about. At least you fucking did it. So many people, and we talked about this, I think, with Austin or you or whoever, they're stuck in these jobs that they fucking hate because they don't think that they're any better than that. Mm-hmm. And I'm here to prove you different. Or they get
scared of taking that leap or that step.
Well, and that's it, because they're so stuck in this that it's like they're afraid to even venture outside of that fucking cage that they put themselves in. It's like the goldfish in the fishbowl inside the ocean.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's like that's it's a spirituality thing. That meme is, but that's life.
Yeah.
There's this whole fucking ocean, but you're stuck swimming in this little fishbowl of fucking life. That's not living.
I think, again, to simplify, you could boil a lot of that down to fear holding people back. Because I think
everything's fear-based.
I think fear and love are the yin and yang of life.
Yep.
And every other emotion is kind of just a derivative of that.
Yeah.
I think joy and gratitude and happiness, whatever, are all expressions of love. And I think anger and despair and jealousy are all derivatives of fear.
Absolutely.
Too. And so, with that in consideration, all those things are just a facet of fear.
Yeah.
Being fear-led in life.
Well, and that's the problem with a lot of men is they're not willing to say, I'm hurt, or I'm this, I'm that. They go to anger.
Yeah.
They use anger as the reaction to, I'm scared, I'm sad, I'm this, I'm that. It's be real, and that's where self-analyzing comes in. But yes, I think fear is the biggest hurdle everybody has to get over is just fear. Because once you get over fear, there's nothing holding you back. There's absolutely nothing holding a person back from succeeding at whatever the fuck they want to do. I mean, obviously, I'm not going to squat 1,000 pounds because my body won't fucking hold that shit. But I'm going to get whatever I can.
Yeah, I say don't cap yourself.
Yeah.
It's like that, what's the saying? Shoot for the fucking stars and land on the moon on the way down or whatever. You know?
Yeah.
That's your objectives here. And if you're here, you still land here.
Well, and that's it. If people don't set their goals high, like I'm top tier, this podcast is top tier, then if I say that we're just fucking lowly little, just a couple dudes doing their thing, yes, debatable.
Wow.
I don't think that's debatable, to be honest.
Oh, that wasn't you can do the rant.
I was talking about Mickey.
Oh, okay.
Damn, Mike.
But you know what I mean. It's everything like you're coaching. You should be thinking big. Yeah. Big. I'm going to open my own fucking coaching gym, or I'm in a boxing gym. You know what I mean? Even if you're not, you should have that mentality of that. It should be that mentality, always try. And I don't mean in a cocky way. I mean humble. You still want to be humble, but you want to be, you never want to set yourself down at the lower echelon.
That might be it.
That's
I think
it.
it's
That's
echelon.
echelon.
Isn't there a car that's an echelon?
God.
That sounds familiar,
I
too.
never knew how to pronounce it. It's like a...
Lower
Maybe it's
echelon.
Toyota. We'll Google after
We'll
this.
Google that
We
shit.
know what we're talking about.
We're over an hour now.
You got anything else? I mean, we can keep going, but what about you, Mickey?
I had a good closing one, but if you got anything, I can...
To ask?
Yeah.
No, not right now.
Okay.
Not that anything...
So...
Crickets. Where's the cricket one?
Go ahead.
Is it this
Find
one?
it. That's it.
Wow, you got the right one this time.
I don't know how long it goes on.
Push it again.
Oh, I don't want it to...
I think it stops it. No, it's done.
Okay, I was like, I don't want it to go on.
When all is said and done, what is the impact you want to leave on the world, and how do you want to be remembered?
The impact is just helping. Is promoting people to succeed. I think that's the, no matter what it is, it's business, it's lifting, it's this, it's that, it's to have a positive impact, and that sometimes comes across wrong.
Yeah.
Because of how I talk and the words I use when I'm talking about shit, but the underlying idea is to help promote success, self-love, self-acceptance, and I guess just everybody is valued to somebody. Yeah. To me. Except for pedophiles. And rapists. And...
It just goes on this whole list. Except for these.
He needs to get out his list with the people that said no also.
Those people.
Those people. Except for all you motherfuckers.
Yeah, I can start in alphabetical order, too.
No, what I was just gonna say was
I love
affirm
it.
that essentially is that like as having known Mike for like 4 years or so, through our friendship and like lifting, he's always pushing me to be a better person, succeed at what I'm doing, and I see him do that with all sorts of people.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it's kind of funny. Rajnita was like, he's always yelling in my ear when they're lifting together, right? And it's because he's pushing her,
Yeah.
right? And because that's just who he is.
It's funny, like, anytime Raj is in the gym, she's like, not like she's not hype, but Raj is just like, you know, fairly mellow and
Yeah.
everything, at least when I've been around her and
Yeah.
everything. And then she goes, God, Mike just always yells at me and stuff. I'm like, that's your husband. Like, you should know that by now.
That's just who he is.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
why she lives with me twice.
Yeah.
But how do I want to be remembered is just that. Just the person who helped, I guess. I mean, I don't, even if you don't remember me, which I won't be remembered. I mean, the books aren't going to have my name in it, but on an individual basis, I want people to know that I cared about them. And I like cigars, and I hate pedophiles
Rapist.
and rapists and that one person.
Mike Schell, everyone.
We're out.